Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, so welcome to the How to Start a Career in Government through NAMRIA webinar. This learning event is part of NAMRIA's observance of the 121st Philippine Civil Service Anniversary. Ako po si Andrew Ramos from the Geospatial Information System Management Branch, and I will be your host, facilitator for this morning. Okay po, so just a few reminders lamang po for my colleagues who are actually joining me via Zoom. Kindly mute your microphones for us to avoid any audio feedback. And of course, for the rest of us who are streaming via the YouTube channel, our official YouTube channel, we will be allocating ample time para po sagutin yung inyong mga katanungan. Okay po? So, again, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. I think it is but proper for us to start our day with a prayer to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem by our very own NAMRIA Choral. Okay, muli isang ligtas at makakalikasang umaga po sa ating lahat. So to formally open our program, our jam-packed program for this morning, I would like to call in the OIC Director of our Support Services Branch, Director Concepcion A. Bringas. Good morning, Boss Connie. Over to you po.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, Andrew. Good morning, everyone. Love to see some of our participants, but with our new setup now, we really have to accept this setup, the new normal. But anyway, good morning, everyone. Hello. Hello. Hi, how are you? I understand our attendees for this morning event are college students and senior high school. And I would like to welcome you to this webinar on how to start a career in government through the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority. So our topic is how to start a career in government service. But I can really relate with you because I have a daughter who is in grade 10 and at this point has been asking what college degree he would enroll, in college. So our participants, you as college students and senior high school, I'm sure you are set on what you're going to take up. Particular, of course, you are now in college. You know what course you are going to get. No, I mean the degree that you would like to get. No, this is very important. The career, you have to have first a college degree. No, though you have to start with what college you are going to take, what college you would like to have a degree on to have a career later. So it is important that you will have a college degree. So first is when you have the college degree, I am sure you consider what are your interests, what are your talents, and of course, what are your resources. So resources would also mean anong makakayahan mo physically, mentally, and everything. And of course, financially, what will you be supported throughout your college life? Now, I'm sure that our college attendees now are sure of their college courses. No? So, and talking about career, this career after college, you would like to have a job, and even before landing a job, you are now thinking about your career. No? So this one is, I would like to apply the career. I would like to apply what I have learned in college. So my career should be will give me something and good opportunities that will help me develop my potentials. No, and of course, the career must be it should be a good paying job, may eventually, as you go along in the ladder. So when we talk about career in government through NAMRIA, so career can be in a private sector or in a government sector. And for this morning, what we will be presenting to you is in the government sector, and NAMRIA is one of the government agencies in the government sector. So they are both the same in terms of providing jobs, but somehow, but for NAMRIA, as your example for this morning, we are proud to say that we are at par with the other private agencies. And of course, the salary wise, where we are almost there. In fact, there are so many uh, who are in the private sector would like to have a job, a career in the government, because for one, we in government we offer a security of tenure. So as a nangyari sa pandemic, even if there's no offices, there's no operation, we continue to receive our salary. So and as we try to share with you how it is working in the government, no, and in NAMRIA, we will have our staff here, our senior middle managers. We have Miss Agnes, Radam, and Miss Angelica to have a conversation with you and share with you how it is working in the government, particularly in National Mapping and Resource Information Authority. So I know you will be learning and get some insights how it is, no, in government and in NAMRIA later. And I hope you will have get some takeaways and inspiration and how you would see yourself, no, a career in either a government or in a private. But I'd like you to look into government as you see how it is working with the with NAMRIA. As Agnes and Angelica will share with you how it is working in NAMRIA. So hindi ko na patatagalan ito. I know mahaba-haba ang conversations ninyo with the other resource persons natin, with Agnes and Angelica. So I wish you good luck, college, our ladies and gentlemen, our college students and senior high students. I wish you good luck in your journey to have a good future through ensuring a good career for you. And I wish you luck and have a good day and stay safe, everyone. Thank you and mabuhay.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Boss Connie, for that opening remarks and also the YouTube channel natin, particularly yung ating chat box. Marami mga nagbibigay ng mga puso. Good morning po. Ayan. So I think very positive yung ating mga participants for today, and we really need those positive energies, especially at this time. So for those of you who are streaming right now via our YouTube channel, maraming salamat po for joining us this morning. Okay? So kagaya nga po na nasabi ni Boss Connie, maybe some of you have questions or baka curious lang, how can someone enter the government service? So ano-ano nga ba yung mga usual na requirements in applying for positions in the government? Of course, aside from passing the civil service examinations. And maybe some of you do not have a full ideas dun sa mga government agencies na mayroon po tayo dito sa Pilipinas. Of course, including the National Mapping and the Resource Information Authority for NAMRIA. So all of those questions, we hope to be able to answer them at the end of this learning event. Okay? So keep those hearts and good mornings and all those greetings coming. We will be able to discuss later po yung inyong mga questions and answers. Okay? So I am happy to note that, of course, We have not one, hindi isa, hindi dalawa, but three resource persons actually for this morning. But before I introduce them, before ko sila ipakilala isa-isa, syempre gusto muna naming ipakilala yung aming siya, ang NAMRIA or ang National Mapping and Resource Information Authority. Okay? So without further ado, allow us to show the NAMRIA AVP.
Maps are essential tools to help people locate objects, features, and events, and navigate their way on the surface of the Earth. Maps enable us to discover, know, and analyze our environment. Maps provide information to be used for planning, decision-making, operations, and governance. More than 80% of the information needed in everyday life deal with location or geography of people, places, things, and events. The National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, or NAMRIA, plays an important role in generating and managing maps and geospatial information. It is an agency of the Philippine government attached to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR. As the country's central mapping and geospatial information management agency, NAMRIA serves the needs of the line services of DENR, other government offices, and the general public. NAMRIA's mission is to provide quality topographic maps, nautical charts, and other geospatial products and services in a timely and coordinated manner. NAMRIA envisions itself to be a center of excellence, building a geospatially empowered Philippines where government, businesses, and individuals make full use of geospatial information in making important decisions and conducting their daily activities. NAMRIA has 6 core functions. Geodetic Reference System Development. Pursuant to Executive Order Number 192, NAMRIA is mandated to establish and maintain the primary geodetic control network for all surveying and mapping in the country. It is in line with this mandate that the agency is undertaking the modernization of the Philippine Geodetic Reference System, or PGRS, as part of its vision of building a geospatially empowered Philippines. The modernization program is aligned with Resolution 266, adopted by the United Nations General Assembly during its 69th session, dated 26 February 2015, that recommends the adoption and active participation of member states in the definition of a Global Geodetic Reference Frame, or GGRF, for sustainable development. The program will upgrade the existing Philippine reference system of 1992 from a static and local system to a datum aligned with a GGRF that is in sync with real-world ground deformations and is managed and utilized by competent PGRS stakeholders. Topographic mapping. NAMRIA produces topographic and derivative maps on various scales, in paper or digital forms. These are used as basic tools and references by the government for infrastructure and development planning, disaster risk reduction and management, environmental protection, and research and development. They are also used by the private sector in investment planning and exploration, by the academic and science communities in research activities, and by the general public. Topographic maps are regularly updated using satellite images and aerial photographs, and from the conduct of field validation surveys. Small and medium-scale topographic maps of 1 to 250,000 and a 1 to 50,000 scale respectively generally cover large areas for macro planning. Large-scale topographic maps of 1 to 10,000 and 1 to 4,000 scale or larger cover smaller areas but are more accurate and show more detail. NAMRIA likewise produces updated administrative maps in the form of provincial and regional maps. Hydrography, physical oceanography, and nautical charting. NAMRIA conducts hydrographic and physical oceanographic surveys and produces nautical charts like berthing, harbor, approach, coastal, general sailing, and overview charts covering the country's maritime jurisdictions. The agency also publishes predicted tide and current tables, coast pilot books, lists of lights, notices to mariners, and other nautical publications. Nautical charts and publications ensure safety in maritime navigation and provide basic information for the management of the maritime space and resources, as well as base data for climate change studies. Charts and hydrographic data are important in complying with the provisions of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea relative to the country's maritime entitlements. Likewise, the nautical publications are required under the Safety of Life at Sea Convention under the International Maritime Organization. Environment and Natural Resource Mapping. NAMRIA conducts nationwide environment and natural resource assessment and mapping of various thematic geospatial information such as land cover, coastal resources, inundation of coastal low-lying areas at various sea level rise scenarios, tenorial instruments, and upland or forest land population, among others. These fundamental data sets serve as vital inputs to policy formulation, physical and developmental planning, provision of social services, disaster risk reduction and management, and climate change mitigation and adaptation studies on various levels. In addition, the agency continues to provide information on classification of lands of the public domain, as well as technical assistance to DENR, and the final mapping and preparation of draft House bills fixing the final forest limits of the country, including validation of the general location of areas under the National Integrated Protected Area System, among other mapping requirements. Maritime zones and boundaries mapping. NAMRIA is responsible for the survey and mapping of the country's terrestrial and maritime territories. It delineates the different maritime zones of the archipelago, including the exclusive economic zone and continental shelves. It spearheaded the successful defense in 2012 of the country's submission to the United Nations for an extended continental shelf in the Benham Rise region, now called Philippine Rise. It also provides technical support to various government agencies on matters pertaining to maritime boundary delimitation and law of the sea issues, as well as to the local government units in the delineation and delimitation of the 15-kilometer municipal water boundaries. Geospatial Information Management and Services. NAMRIA's Geospatial Information and Management Services include Information System Strategic Planning, Geospatial Databasing, Information and Web System Development, Information and Communications Technology, Resource and Network Management, Geographic Information Systems or GIS Project Collaboration and Technical Assistance, GIS Trainings, Packaging of Geospatial Information Products and Services, Stakeholder Relations and Partnership Development, Information, Education, and Communication and Client Services. NAMRIA also plays active roles and even acts as lead in local and international programs in the area of geospatial information management and services relevant to disaster risk reduction and management and climate change adaptation. NAMRIA spearheads the implementation of the National Spatial Data Infrastructure, or NSDI, which is designed to provide a mechanism for sharing of and access to geospatial information produced and maintained by the various stakeholders and custodians across the country. A major output of the NSDI is GeoPortal Philippines. This application system, managed by NAMRIA, serves as a platform for online and open sharing of geospatial information. NAMRIA also assists other government agencies and the general public in disaster mapping. NAMRIA is one of the member agencies of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC. The agency collaborates with other government agencies in the production of multi-hazard maps and information, education, and communication campaigns in various local government units. NAMRIA also assists Congress in the crafting of priority bills on maritime zones, archipelagic sea lanes, land classification, comprehensive land use, and protected areas, among others. From its humble beginnings in 1987, NAMRIA has come a long way and stands firm in accomplishing its mandated tasks and responsibilities to its clients and stakeholders and to the goals of DENR. This is the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, an agency helping to build a geospatially empowered Philippines. Welcome to NAMRIA.
Okay, maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. Indeed, welcome virtually to NAMRIA. So we hope that you are actually acquainted more kung ano-ano nga ba yung ginagawa, what we do here in NAMRIA, what are our mandates, and of course, what are our products and services offered. Okay, so si NAMRIA nga po, National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, we are actually an attached agency of the DENR, and we are actually the central mapping agency of the Philippine government. Okay, so additional information, of course, will be discussed by our resource persons later on. Okay, syempre, before we proceed with the presentations, just a reminder lamang po doon po sa ating mga participants via the YouTube. You can actually type in your questions and comments doon po sa chat on our chat box located at the right-hand side of the YouTube interface. Dito po, so makikita niyo po dito sa right-hand side, pwede po kayong mag-type ng inyong questions, insights, comments, at we hope to discuss all of those questions and inputs later on during our open forum. Okay po? Okay, so wag na natin patagalin pa. We will now start with our presentations. Okay, so on to our presentations. Our first resource speaker is Mr. Marlon A. Marinas. Sir Marlon is currently working as a Media Production Specialist 3 at the Geospatial Information Services Division of the GISMB here in NAMRIA. He will provide an overview of NAMRIA as the mapping agency of the Philippine government. Okay, so good morning, Sir Marlon. Over to you.
Good morning, Sir Andrew. And good morning din po sa mga attendees natin. Maraming salamat po sa pag-attend niyo dito sa webinar on how to start a career in government through NAMRIA. So bago po ang lahat, mas maganda na mas makilala pa natin kung ano po yung ang NAMRIA. So, katatapos na po ng ABP, pero ang info dito sa presentation nito ay mas maintindihan pa natin lalo kung ano pa yung ginagawa namin sa opisina, kasama na yung mga products and services namin, at kasama na rin dito sa presentation ko yung mga sagot doon sa mga frequently asked questions sa amin. So, naka-assign din po kasi ako sa client service section ng opisina. So, yun, kadalasan kami po yung sumasagot ng mga inquiries. So, mamaya bibigyan ko po kayo ng mga link kung paano po kayo pwede mag-inquire. Yan. Share ko lang po yung screen. Yan. So, katulad ng sinabi kanina sa ABP, so the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, or NAMRIA, is an agency of the Philippine government attached to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR. As the country's central mapping and geospatial information management agency, NAMRIA serves the needs of the line services of DENR other government offices, and the general public. So NAMRIA was created under Executive Order number 192, series 1987, issued by then President Corazon C. Aquino, with a mandate to provide the public with map-making services and to act as the central mapping agency, depository, and distribution facility for natural resources data in the forms of maps, charts, text, and statistics. The executive order combined the functions and powers of some agencies to form NAMRIA. Ito po yung Natural Resources Management Center, National Cartography Authority, Bureau of Coast and Geodetic Survey na hydrography branch na po namin ngayon, and the land classification teams based at the then yung tawag nila dati Bureau of Forest Development. So the policy direction of NAMRIA are provided by a 5-member Board of Governors consisting of key officers with no less than the rank of undersecretaries, DNR as the chair, and the DA, DPWH, DND, and DOT as members of the board. So ito po yung vision and mission ng opisina. So NAMRIA's mission is to provide quality topographic maps, nautical charts, and other geospatial products and services in a timely and coordinated manner. NAMRIA envisions itself to be center of excellence, building a geospatially empowered Philippines where government, businesses, and individuals make full use of geospatial information in making important decisions and conducting their daily activities. So these are the NAMRIA's core function. Geodetic reference system development, topographic mapping, hydrography, physical oceanography and nautical charting, environment and natural resource mapping, maritime zones and boundaries mapping, geospatial information and management services. So isa-isahin po natin sila sa mga susunod na slides. So geodetic reference system development pursuant to Executive Order number 192, NAMRIA is mandated to establish and maintain the Philippine Geodetic Reference System, the primary reference for all surveying and mapping in the country. It is in line with this mandate that the agency is undertaking the modernization of the National Geodetic System, or NGS, as part of its core initiative and under its vision of helping to build a geospatially empowered Philippines. So, kung mapapansin niyo po sa picture, kung sakaling makita niyo po yung sarili niyo nandito po sa NAMRIA, so hindi lang po yung office works ang ginagawa namin dito. So isa sa mga works na po pwede nyo pong matanggap yung magto-travel sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas. So katulad itong establishment ng mga geodetic control points dito sa core function na to. So yung nasa etong picture na to, I think sa Mount Pulag siya, GPS survey, tapos gravity survey, ito sa Zambales. So sure lang dito sa location ng leveling na ginagawa nila. So ito po yung sample ng mga muhon na ini-establish namin. So meron siya nakalagay na ILS 28 2005 NAMRIA. So maliban sa sa muhon na to, meron siyang mga kasama na mga metadata. So gusto ko lang, kasi nabanggit na rin kanina doon sa ABP yung geoportal. So gusto ko lang ipakita sa inyo po. Ayan. So ano yung ILS 28 na nandun sa presentation? So using geoportal.gov.ph, so pwede nyo pong i-load yung mga geodetic control points na meron kami. So hanapin nyo po siya. So marami siya. So pwede nyo po siyang mahanap. And then pag nahanap nyo po siya, pwede nyo po siyang i-click. Ayan, kiklik nyo lang po siya. So bibigyan niya information ng muhon na kanina yung geodetic control points, ILS 28. Saan siya makikita? Sa province ng Ilocos Sur, municipality ng Tagudin, Barangay Dardarat, and then yung iba pang mga metadata niya katulad ng mga coordinates, elevation, description kung saan siya makikita para maging guide sa mga geodetic surveyor natin. Bawa katulad ito. So ILS 28 from Candon City, travel south for about 26 kilometers and reaching a group of restaurants along the National Highway in Barangay Dardarat. So yun, ito yung mga information na makikita niyo dito sa geoportal namin. Tapos gusto ko lang ipakita sa inyo na may mga metadata yung mga muhon na ni-establish namin na po pwede nyo magamit sa mga undertakings po ninyo. So balikan ko lang po yung PowerPoint. So for info lang po, ito yung mga control points na or muhon na ini-establish namin. So hindi po ito yung mga nasa corner ng lote ng bahay natin. So kadalasan po inquiry din sa amin, mga tungkol sa mga private lots. So hindi po sa amin yun. Mga control points namin ay yung mga para sa survey reference. So for example, katulad doon sa dire-require ng CAAP, magtatayo ka ng building, Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. So kailangan silang yung magpapagawa ng building, kailangan silang mag-secure sa amin ng certification of geodetic control point for elevation reference dun sa height ng building. Especially kapag nasa loob siya ng 8 kilometer ata na radius dun sa airport. So para hindi siya makaabala dun sa aeroplano na lilipad. So isa yun sa mga purpose ng mga geodetic control points namin. So sa topographic mapping, NAMRIA produces topographic and derivative maps on various scales in paper or digital forms. These are used are basic tools and reference by the government for infrastructure and development planning. Nabanggit kanina yung disaster risk reduction and management, environmental protection and research development. So ginagamit po ito ng mga private sector natin para sa pagplano ng mga investment nila, ng mga nasa academic and science communities para sa research activities or thesis. Syempre, yan, marami nagre-request sa amin ng mga data para dyan. Syempre, yung general public. So, for example, kung kailangan nyo ng ECC or yung environmental compliance certificate para sa proposed project sa isang lugar, isa sa mga requirements ng EMB or yung Environmental Management Bureau ng DNR, yung topographic maps namin. So, pa-plot doon kung saan ang exact location ng project para ma-determine if yung proposed project ba will not cause a significant negative impact on the environment. So, dito sa picture namin sa slide, meron tayong dalawang scale ng topographic map. So, 1:10,000 scale topographic map, which covers small areas but are more accurate and show more details. So, mas marami siyang detalye kumpara po dito sa 1:50,000 scale. So, yung red box po dito, hindi po siya part ng 1:50,000 scale namin. So gusto ko lang pong i-emphasize dito na yung coverage ng 1:10,000 scale namin is ganito lang kalaki compared do sa 1:50,000 scale. So sa total, makakabuo ka ng 25 na map sheet ng 1:10,000 scale sa isang 1:50,000 topographic map. Yan, so ito lang po yung coverage ng 1:10,000 scale. So maliit yung coverage niya pero yung details niya mas marami compare dito sa 1:50,000. So meron din kaming small scale topographic maps katulad itong 1:250,000 scale topographic map, which generally cover large areas. So itong mapa nito is Cebu City. Yan, ito pong island na nasa gitna is Cebu. For macro planning ng mga companies ba gagamitin po nila. So NAMRIA likewise produces updated administrative maps in the form of provincial and regional maps. For info din po, so yung mga political boundaries indicated sa aming mga map is only approximate. For viewing purposes lang siya. So kung sakaling kailangan ninyo ng mga political boundaries, ang agency na mandated na mag-produce doon is yung Land Management Bureau through their National Cadastral Survey Program. Ito yung magiging base ng government para doon sa IRA or yung Internal Revenue Allotment ng mga LGUs. So hindi po sa amin yun. Makikita nyo sa mga topo namin, naka-indicate naman po yun sa mga notations. Yan, dito sa mga notations na to, na the political boundaries is approximate. So minsan kasi napapatawag yung NAMRIA. So nakalagay daw sa topographic maps namin na ito dapat yung boundary nila pero yun, hindi po nila nabasa na approximate lang po siya. Especially kung meron silang dispute doon sa kabilang barangay or munisipyo. Yan, para doon sa IRA nila. Yan, so isa sa mga core functions pa namin is mag-conduct ng hydrographic and physical oceanographic surveys and produce nautical chart like berthing, harbor, approach, coastal, general sailing, and overview chart covering the country's maritime jurisdiction. So ano yung pagkakaiba ng mga chart na to? So yung general sailing or coastal chart, ang scale niya no, nag-range ng mga 1:50,000 scale to 150,000 scale. So malaki yung coverage niya since malayo pa naman siya doon sa port na pupuntahan niya. So habang papalapit siya, ang gagamitin niya na is yung approach or harbor chart na mga 1:10,000 scale. Mas maliit na yung coverage niya kasi kailangan na ng mas maraming details sa chart. Tapos kung dadaong na talaga yung barko, gagamitin nila yung tinatawag natin na berthing. So ang scale niya is mga nasa 1:10, 1:2,000 scale. Mas maliit na coverage, mas focus sa port na dadaong at mas masinsin yung mga details. Kasi baka may mababaw na part or kung ano man is, kung meron mang ano doon sa ilalim is baka sumadsad sila sa malaking problema yun sa barko or bangka kung ano man. So yun nga, the surveys and chart ensure safety in maritime navigation and provide basic information for the management of the maritime space and resources, as well as base data for climate change studies. So the charts and hydrographic data are important in complying with the provisions of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS relative to their country's maritime entitlement. So likewise, the nautical publications are required under the Safety of Life at Sea Convention or yung tinatawag natin na SOLAS. So ano yung mga publications na yun? So meron tayong sample dito na tide and current table, Philippine Notice to Mariners, Philippine List of Flights, tsaka yung Philippine Coast Pilot. Yung tide and current table natin, so it's an annual compilation ng mga tide predictions at some 320 locations nationwide, and tidal current predictions at 37 straits and passages. It is a must for all ships to carry this on board and pwede din yung reference sa mga flood control, fisheries, so para ma-determine nila yung high tide, low tide, sa aquaculture, coastal engineering, tourism, and other coastal activities. So for info lang din, yung mga calendar po ninyo is sa bahay. Alam mo, usually may makikita tayo ng mga high tide o low tide. So hindi siya accurate kasi iba-iba po ang height ng tide sa iba-ibang location at oras. So if di po kayo makakabili ng publication na yun, po pwede nyo rin po siyang makita sa website po namin. So pakita ko lang po yung website. So doon po sa baba ng website namin, www.namria.gov.ph, nandun po yung mga predicted hourly height of tide, 2021 September 14. Today po siya. So ano yung makikita natin dito? So kaya yung calendar niya, sinabi ko na inaccurate siya. So hindi natin alam kung saan lugar yung high tide or low tide na yun. So pwede ka mamili ba sa Nabotas, Metro Manila, so sa 0-100 hour o yung madaling araw na alas 12. So ito yung height ng tide niya. Tapos alas 12 ng tanghali, ito yung height. So mapapansin nyo sa Puerto Princesa or choose natin ba sa Baler, Aurora. So iba-iba po yung height nila sa pare-parehong oras. Yun. So pwede nyo rin po siyang reference. Visitahin nyo lang po yung website din po namin. Susunod po yung Notice to Mariners, so a monthly publication containing all reported changes or revisions in aid to navigation, recent chart corrections, and relevant warnings. So hindi po ganun kabilis yung pag-update ng mga nautical charts natin. Marami pang ginagawa sila mga process. So para maging aware po agad yung mga naglalayag sa dagat ng mga barko or bangka, importante po itong Notice to Mariners. So isa din po ito sa pwedeng maglagay dito. Pwede rin nakalagay dito may dredging na magaganap doon sa isang lugar, or usually may mga gunnery exercise yung Navy, so nilalagay din yan. So mas mabilis din pong ma-disseminate yung information na to kasi pinapublish din po namin siya sa website. Pakita ko lang po yung website namin. Dito naman siya sa part ng ito po, sa download. So Notice to Mariner, every month po meron po mga pinapublish dyan. So kakibat po ito pang update dun sa nautical chart. So sakaling hindi agad siya ma-update. Yan. So ano pa? So ito, Philippine List of Flights. So yun lang, pinapakita lang niya yung mga lighthouses throughout the Philippine archipelago, yung mga locations niya. Yun lang naman yung laman niya. And then yung coast pilot naman, so the publication is useful to navigators for it contains sailing directions, description ng mga Philippine coastal feature, channel, yung mga harbor, ports, tsaka kung ano yung mga facilities na doon. Kasama na rin yung mga weather pattern, dangers, tsaka aid to navigation. Available rin po ito sa digital form. So, sa mga map sales offices namin. So, NAMRIA also conduct nationwide environmental and natural resources assessment and mapping of various thematic geospatial information such as land cover. So, gusto ko lang pong balikan lang po natin yung geoportal ulit. Ayan. So, niload ko po dito yung land cover namin. Makikita niyo po na 2015. So, supposedly po kasi last year dapat po nailabas na namin yung latest namin na 2020 land cover. Kaso yun nga po dahil sa pandemic, na-delay siya. So, hopefully this year may release na po namin yung 2020 land cover. So, ano po makikita natin doon sa land cover na dito? So, andi dito po yung mga annual crop, kung ano ba, kung saan lugar yung may mga brush and shrub, built-up areas, closed forest, fish pond, grassland, inland waters. So, yun po, pwede nyo po siya makita kung gusto nyo pong malaman yung land cover po ng lugar ninyo. Covering po siya ng buong Pilipinas, so pinag-iwa-hiwalay lang po namin siya sa Luzon, Mindanao, Palawan, tsaka Visayas para mas magaan po yung loading. Kung buong isang layer siya, medyo mabagal. Especially kung mabagal din yung internet mo. So, mahihirapan mag-load. Yan. Okay, balik ako lang po yung... So, isa sa mga pinuproduce din namin... Ay, mali pala, sorry. So, yung coastal resource, dito rin siya sa geoportal kung gusto niyo po makita. So, hiwa-hiwalay rin po siya. Pinag-hiwa-hiwalay din na Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. So, ano yung meron doon sa coastal resource map namin? Zoom in tayo sa mapa. Ayan, so yung mga, itong kulay na to, so ibig sabihin ito yung mga corals, tapos may mga mangroves, tapos yung mga green naman yung mga seagrass or seaweed. So isa din sa mga pinoproduce ng ENR po is yung inundation ng coastal resource. So nasa geoportal po namin yan. Zoom to make visible. So, ito naman pong inundation ng coastal low-lying areas at various sea level rise. So, parang sinisimulate niya kung ano yung mangyayari doon sa isang lugar kung sakaling tumaas yung sea level ng 0.5 meter, 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meters, tsaka 4.5 meters. So, ang naka-display natin dito is inundation map ng 2 meter sea level rise. So, sinasabi niya na itong gray na to, no flooding siya. So siguro masyado mababa itong lugar ito. Merong part na ankle deep hanggang tuhod, waist deep yung yellow, tapos yung medyo brown is hanggang leg na, tapos yung red, ito hanggang top of the head na daw. So mas mataas na talaga yung itataas ng dagat kung sakali magkaroon ng 2 meters sea level rise. And so the agency continues to provide information on classification of lands of the public domain as well as technical assistance to DNR in the final mapping and preparation of the general location of areas under the NIPAS or yung National Integrated Protected Area System. So ito yung sample ng land classification map namin, mga unclassified public forest. Tapos yung nakita niyo sa geoportal, so pinoproduce din namin siya as map. So ito yung preliminary coastal resource map ng Zamboanga Sibugay. Yan, pwede nyo rin po siya ma-acquire sa amin. So ito isa sa mga core functions ng NAMRIA, so maritime zones and boundary mapping. So responsible po kami para sa pag-survey ng mga terrestrial and maritime territories ng Pilipinas. It delineates the different maritime zones of the archipelago, including the EEZ, yung Exclusive Economic Zone, tsaka yung continental shelves. It spearheaded a successful defense in 2012 of the country's submission to the United Nations for an extended continental shelf in the Benham Rice region na tinatawag na natin na Philippine Rice. So kung hindi niyo po alam kung saan part po siya, so ito po yung nautical chart ng Benham Rice. So ito po siya, yung part na to. Yung Philippine Rice na po na tinatawag natin. So maliban doon, it also provides technical support to various government agencies on matters pertaining to maritime boundary delimitation. So ito po yung pinapakita naman dito sa mapa. Ito yung mga municipal boundary. Ayan, 15-kilometer municipal water boundaries. So yung mga nagtatrabaho sa LGU, so po pwede nyo po siyang ma-acquire sa amin. Gagawa lang po kayo ng request. Isa pa pala, ito yung delineation din ng Philippine-Indonesia EEZ sa ng boundary. So ito po yung mapa na na-establish. So kasama rin po yung NAMRIA dito sa pag-establish po nito. So ito po yung nautical chart, sample chart. Ayan, so NAMRIA, isa sa core function ng NAMRIA is Geospatial Information Management and Services. So include information system strategic planning, Geospatial database, information and web system development. So sa amin po yun, kami po yung nagmamanage yan, ng geoportal, pati yung sa website. Yun nga, nabisita na natin yung www.namria.gov.ph, which contains everything about our office, recent news, mga job vacancies, kung naghanap po kayo ng work. So information for public consumption such as navigational warning, yung pinakita ko po sa kanyo kanina, notice to mariner, tsaka yung predicted hourly height of tide per location. So, not sure kung may pa. Ayan, so kasama sa amin na manage ng core function na to, yung 31 na information system portal. So sa lahat ng halos transaction namin, internally tsaka externally sa mga clients, so gumagamit po kami ng mga information system. So kasama po ito sa amin na manage nung Geospatial Information Management and Services. So, ano pa? Ito. So, kasama din po yung Information and Communication Technology Resource, tsaka yung mga network management, Geographic Information System, or GIS project collaboration. Yan, may mga GIS training din po kami. May training center po kami para sa GIS, para doon sa mga student or interesado kayo na matuto ng QGIS, ArcGIS, tsaka yung Manifold. So meron po kami training center. Kaso nga lang po, this pandemic, naka-online po siya. So mamaya itakal pa natin siya. Packaging ng mga geospatial information. So katulad po dito sa sample namin, annual report, mga info mappers. Nagka-conduct din kami ng mga IEC, tsaka yung kinabibilangan ko po na section, yung client services. Ayan, so NAMRIA spearheads the implementation of the National Spatial Data Infrastructure, NSDI, which is designed to provide a mechanism for sharing and custodian across the country. So a major output ng NSDI po namin ay yung geoportal po na pinakita namin kanina. Ayan, so NAMRIA has 4 technical branches and 1 support branch. So yung mapping and geodesy branch, in charge sa mga national geodetic reference, frame development, topographic map production. Hydrography branch, in charge naman sa mga bathymetric and oceanographic surveys, nautical charting, and delineation of countries' maritime zones. So resource data analysis branch, in charge naman po sila sa land and coastal resource mapping, land classification, and thematic mapping activities. And the Geospatial Information System Management branch, in charge naman po sa agency's Geospatial System Development tsaka yung client services po. Yung support branch naman po namin is in charge of the administrative, policy and planning, financial and management, and engineering services. So we are all under the leadership of Administrator Yusek Peter and Chanko. Tapos may dalawa po kami deputy administrator, si Engineer Efren P. Carandang, tsaka si John Santiago Pabic. So ano po yung ginagawa ng mapping geodesy branch namin? Ang function po nila is para mag-produce, mag-maintain, updates base map that will serve as a basic input in various development activities of the government. So katulad po ng hazard map na meron tayo doon sa website. So yung data po ng MGB or PBOX, so in-overlay po nila doon yung mga data nila sa topographic map po namin. So ginamit nila yung mapa namin as base map. So isa sa mga function nila para sa mag-establish, maintain ng mga National Geodetic Control Network, mga geodetic control point, to serve as a common reference for all surveying and mapping activities in the country. So ito po yung mga divisions niya. So cartography divisions, sila po yung in charge sa mga medium scale tsaka small scale na topographic map namin. Yung mga 1 is to 250,000, 1 is to 10,000, administrative map. Yan, sila po yung hanapin nyo kung kailangan nyo po ng mga ganun data. Geodesy division naman po, para doon sa mga control points na nire-request, katulad po yung example ko po sa CAAP. So sila po yung nagpo-process na, sila yung nagre-release ng certificate. Photogrammetry division para naman po doon sa mga large scale map, 1 is to 10,000, mga satellite imageries, yung very high resolution satellite imageries namin. Ano pa ba? Ayun, mga orthophoto map. And reprography and printing. So meron po kaming printing section na pinagmumulan po ng mga mapa namin na nakalagay po, nakahouse po sa mga map sales offices. So hydrography branch, so headed by Commander Antonio G. Valenzuela Jr. So maliban po sa mga civilian na mga employees po namin, meron din po kami mga uniform officers na i-discuss po ni Ma'am Angelica later. So ang function po ng hydrography branch is to acquire and analyze hydrographic and oceanographic data used for promoting navigational safety in oceanographic research. So ang mga divisions nila, nautical charting, so, sa name pa lang, so nautical chart ang pinuproduce nila. Sa maritime affairs, yung mga nabanggit natin na municipal boundaries, sa kanila po yan. Physical oceanography, yung mga tide data, yung nabanggit po natin kanina na mga high tide, low tide, tsaka siyempre yung survey support. So kasi meron kami mga barko, so kailangan din may mga support din po sila para doon. Resource Data Analysis Branch, so sila po yung nagkakandak ng land cover assessment. Pinakita ko po sa sample kanina sa geoportal, land cover, land classification, ayan, by providing remote sensing services and vital data on the environment, land cover, forestry, agriculture, water resources, and coastal, so among others. So meron din po silang mga remote sensing at saka mga GIS application. So sa GID, mga thematic maps nila, land classification, yun, obviously yung land classification, land resource and data analysis, sila po yung nagpo-produce ng land cover, physiography and coastal resource. So dito po yung slope map natin, tsaka yung pinakita ko po kanina ng mga inundation, tsaka yung coastal resource map. So ito po yung branch namin, Geospatial Information System Management Branch, headed by Ma'am Pebrina E. Damaso. So ang function namin, sharing, transfer, exchange, packaging, and dissemination of environment and natural resources for ENR data, develop and maintains information system, yung 31 na information system na ginagamit namin, mga ENR databases for use not only within NAMRIA but also by outside client, and serve as the marketing arm of NAMRIA po for all its products and services. So kami po yung mga nagpa-package ng mga publications, mga ABP, mga IEC na katulad po nito. Yan, so Geospatial Database Management. So sila yung nagpo-produce ng mga database na ginagamit namin sa mga information system. Geospatial Information and Communication Technology, sila yung mga nag-handle para doon sa mga infrastructure, mga IT infrastructure namin. Katulad dito yung sa server, Geospatial Information Services. So yan, yung mga news releases, news scoop, infomapper, tsaka yung Geospatial System Development. So sila po yung gumagawa, nagpo-program ng mga information system na meron po kami ngayon sa NAMRIA. Of course, hindi po tatakbo yung apat na technical branches na yun kung wala po yung support services branch. So, ang division po nila yung administrative, engineering services, ito yung mga nag-aayos po doon sa mga facilities namin, financial management, mga sa accounting, policy and planning. So, kailangan din po yun. So, maliban po doon, sila din po nag-spearhead ng mga activities katulad ng mga sa National Women's Month namin, sa at para din sa improvement ng mga employees katulad ng coaching and mentoring. So to date po, NAMRIA has implemented several major human resource and organizational development programs such as strategic planning, quality management system or QMS, competency-based human resource system, program to institutionalize meritocracy and excellence in human resource management, strategic human resource management and development, learning and development, and morale and welfare. So the agency maintains its QMS and is presently certified to ISO 9001:2015 standard for mapping, geospatial information management, and ayan, 2018 pa pala to. So this year lang po, nung September lang, so na-audit po uli kami para do sa recertification ng itong ISO. So pumasa po uli kami and ayun, ongoing na naman po uli yung status namin until sa patapos po yung 3 years para may re-audit po kami. So isa sa mga achievement po namin, yung accredited po kami ng investors and people. So in 2018, so ang status po namin is yung accredited lang kami. Pero this year lang din po, in-audit po nila uli kami. So kami po ngayon ay nasa silver category na. So ito po yung mga facilities na meron po kami sa NAMRIA. So maliban po doon sa mga office building namin dito sa Fort Bonifacio, Taguig City, tsaka doon sa San Nicolas, yung hydrography branch namin. So the agency is staffed by around 800 people, 70% of whom are holding technical positions like oceanographers, hydrographer, mga geodesists, cartographer, photogrammetries, remote sensing technologies, and geographic information system or GIS specialists. So ito yung mga facilities po namin. So yung Philippine Active Geodetic Network, it is the country's modern geodetic reference infrastructure consisting of active geodetic stations that provide 24/7 real-time global navigation satellite system or GNSS to the users via internet. So kung interested po kayo dito sa PageNet namin na may website din, meron po silang link sa website namin. So, Philippine Active Geodetic Network. Yan. So, para mas ma-inform po kayo tungkol po dito sa PageNet po namin. Yan, ito po yung website nila. Ang link po niya nandun din sa namria.gov.ph. So, ayan, ito po yung website. Ito din po yung sample ng Active Geodetic Network. So, parang ginagawa po nito, so pag nag-survey po sila, para mas ma-minimize pa yung margin of errors do sa ginagamit nila na GPS. So, kung meron kang 1 meter na margin of error, pwede niya pang mapababa yun sa centimeter. So, parang isang hakbang na lang, doon na yung point na tinutukoy mo. So, isa sa mga facilities namin, meron kaming 4 na survey vessel. So, dito sa picture na to, yung 2 survey vessel na Presbitero at Ventura. So, meron po kaming 2 bagong katamaran type na survey vessel din. So, meron din kami magnetic observatory. Ito po nakalocate sa Muntinlupa. Nagpuproduce din po kami ng electronic navigational chart. So, parang digital siya na nautical chart. Kaso lang po, ang meron pong special na equipment yung mga barko na ginagamit para doon sa pagbasa nito. Itong Electronic Chart Display Information System or ECDIS. So meron po kaming primary stations, so a network of primary tide stations in the country that NAMRIA operates and maintains for the continuous monitoring and recording of sea level. So karamihan po sa mga tide station na to, equipped na rin po ng telemetry system para sa real-time transmission ng tidal data to our hydrography branch. So kung meron ng telemetry yung tide station na nasa lugar nyo, so automatic na siyang magbabato do sa hydrography branch. So actually meron pa rin siyang tide observer doon pero minimal na lang din yung trabaho niya. So itong sample na to sa Udjongan, ito yung sample po ng tide station namin sa Udjongan, Romblon. So ito yung sinasabi ko po kanina. So meron po kaming Geomatics Training Center. Ito po yung website namin. May link din po siya do sa namria.gov.ph. Pwede po kayong mag-register dyan sa mga available na trainings. So ang training po namin is individually po is ngayon po is 5,000 pesos. Tapos online siya. Katulad ngayong week may kinakanda kami na training. So kung gusto niyo naman pong mag-avail po ng package, so po pwede rin naman po. For 50,000 po pwede nang mag-attend mga 15 to 20 persons. Yun, baba kasi minsan may mga schools na gusto nila sama-sama sila, imbis na mag-individual pa sila na 5,000. So yun, nakikipag-MOA sila sa amin para do sa online training. Or kung nung wala pa yung pandemic, so ginagawa namin, pupunta kami mismo do sa lugar kung saan nila request. Bawa LGU ng Zamboanga, pupunta mismo kami doon sa Zamboanga para magturo. Yun, nung face-to-face pa yung sitwasyon. So yung data center namin, so dito naka-house yung geoportal.gov.ph namin, yung website, yung mga information system namin. Itong server din na to, naka-house yung mga data ng mga kada branches, yung mga pinaprocess nilang data, yung mga na-produce nila. So dito po sa NAMRIA data center namin nilalagay. Meron din po kaming map sales offices. So itong nasa picture po yung nasa Port Bonifacio. So maliliit po kasi yung yung itong text dito, pero kung sakaling gusto niyo pong bumili ng mapa sa amin, nasa website din po yung contact number nila, map sales offices, about us, tapos map sales offices. Ayan. Nandito po nakalagay yung mga OIC namin sa mga map sales offices, dito main, sa Port Bonifacio, sa Binondo, ayan po sila Mamalu, sa NCR doon sa Quezon City, doon mismo sa DNR main office. So may naka-house kami doon ng map sales office. Tapos meron din po kami nasa region. So ang ano lang po, doon sa mga region, hindi po kayo makakabili doon ng NCR map. Bawa nasa region 1 ka, hindi ka po makakabili doon ng ibang mapa. So ang coverage nila, baka region 1 siya, mga region 1 na mapa at saka nautical chart lang po yung mabibili nyo doon. So kung gusto nyo po ng, nandito naman po kayo sa Manila, po pwedeng doon na lang din po kayo po dumiretso sa mga offices namin dito sa Port Bonifacio or dito sa Binondo namin. Yun po. Yan po yung ibang mga map sales. So maliban lang po doon sa Tacloban, so naka-temporary close pa siya. So hopefully mabuksan na rin siya. Parang last year dapat pupuntahan niyan para ma-open din dahil nga din sa pandemic. Nagkaroon na naman na-delay na naman po yung pag-open namin doon sa. So para sana mas maganda, every region meron kami mga map sales office na po pwede pupuntahan ng mga clients. Oh. Ayan, sorry. Ayan. Ayun, umabot pa isa. So meron din po kaming NAMRIA Museum Surveying Mapping. Kung mabisita po kayo dito sa Port Bonifacio, po pwede po kayong mag-request para mag-tour po doon sa museum namin. So meron po kami doon mga timeline nung kung paano po nabuo yung NAMRIA, kung ano po yung mga maps na ginagamit before, tsaka mga old equipments, kung ano po yung mga first na mapa na na-produce ng NAMRIA. So makikita nyo po siya dito. Kadalasan mga academic na, mga academia yung mga nag-visit sa amin dito. Ibihira lang, pero minsan nagkaroon na ako ng instance na isang buong family sila, nakita lang nila sa website namin na meron kami sale. So yun, tinuro ko sila kahit ano lang, sila lang. Sayang di kasi yung punta nila. Ayan, so maliban doon, meron din po kami library. So kung gusto nyo mag-research sa NAMRIA, so gawa lang din po kayo ng request. So meron kami mga old books or regarding, basta everything regarding sa mapping, meron din kami. And then yung mga lumang-luma pa, yung mga military grade pa na mga mapa, so meron din po kami nun. Yan, so thank you very much po. Kung meron pa po kayong inquiry regarding sa NAMRIA, bisitahin nyo lang po yung website namin. So kung mapapansin, balik ako lang po yung website. So meron po dun sa website namin na hinahid ko lang. So meron pong chat box doon. So magsasign in dapat kayo sa Facebook nyo. So doon po pwede na kayo mag-direct po na inquiry. Po pwede na kayo mag-inquiry doon. Pero meron din po sa baba kung sakaling ayun, kung wala kayong Facebook or kung ayaw nyo i-sign in yung Facebook nyo, pwede rin po kayo dito sa ibaba pong portion na to para magpadala po ng inquiry sa amin. Kung meron kayong questions, ayan po. So, pwede rin po kayo mag-email sa amin, css.gsnb@namria.gov.ph. Meron din po kaming website, Facebook, sorry. Yung Facebook po namin. Ayan, ito po. So, nandito rin po yung mga notice to mariners, mga warnings, yan. Tapos kung ano man po mga announcement regarding po sa NAMRIA. Ayan, tapos ito po yung contact number. Direct line po namin is 02-887-5466. Tapos yung trunk line naman namin is 02-8810-4831, local 401 and 444. Ayan po. Sana po marami po kayo napulot sa aking presentation. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, maraming salamat Sir Marlon. So based dun sa presentation ni Sir Marlon, no, so yung magnitude ng mapping work ng NAMRIA is talagang malaki. So naisip ko nga kanina, we're actually mapping from ridge to reef kasi nga minamapa namin ang kalupaan hanggang nagmamapa din kami hanggang katubigan. So ganun kalaki po yung extent ng mandato ng aming ahensya. And another thing po, i-reiterate ko nga lang po ulit, if you would like to know more about the agency, about the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, kagaya nga po na nasabi ni Sir Marlon, of course, you can visit our website, yung namria.gov.ph. And of course, yung isa nga po na present ni Sir Marlon, yung geoportal.gov.ph, it's actually a web mapping service. Pwede nyo din pong i-check yun for further information on the things that we do. Okay? So, okay, next on our list, I think we have Ensign Angelica B. Prado. Okay, so Ensign Prado is actually a commissioned officer who is currently in charge, of the Nautical Publication section at the Maritime Affairs Division of our Hydrography branch. She will discuss the work of our uniformed services and perhaps share some tips on their application process. Okay, baka mabigyan tayo ng tips ni Ensign Prado. Okay, so Miss Angge, the floor is yours. Good morning po.
Hello po. Good morning everyone. Marami pong salamat sa pakikinig po sa mga nasa YouTube dyan. I am Ensign Prado from the Hydrography branch of the NAMRIA. So kanina si Sir Marlon na-explain na niya ano ba yung pinagagawa namin dito sa NAMRIA. So basically, kanina nasabi niya na meron ng sinusurvey sa lupa, meron naman ding sinusurvey sa tubig. So sa ngayon po, I will share with you the NAMRIA Uniform Service. So NAMRIA Uniform Service. Ano ba yung Uniform Service? Siguro iisipin natin normally mga police, mga PCG, mga sundalo, bakit may uniformed service sa NAMRIA? So dito po, i-explain ko po sa inyo, basically yung uniform service ng NAMRIA, anong ginagawa namin, and syempre, paano kami nagre-recruit. So sabi nga, in the Philippines, the 7 major uniformed services are the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Philippine National Police, Philippine Coast Guard, Bureau of Fire Protection, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, Bureau of Corrections, and the National Mapping and Resource Information Authority. So sa ngayon po, ang topic natin is malaman kung ano yung brief history ng military ranks sa NAMRIA Hydrography Branch. So dito malalaman natin kung bakit nga ba may uniform service ang NAMRIA. Second topic is the Hydrography Branch organizational structure. Basically, mas in-depth po sa explanation ni Sir Marlon kung ano bang ginagawa namin sa mapping sa dagat. For the topic 3, the recruitment of the probationary ensigns for commissioned officers, and the fourth is the recruitment of seaman, third class for non-commissioned officers. So, let's start. So, bakit kaya may uniform service sa NAMRIA? So, sabi nga, syempre, it dates back, way back 1900s pa. So, noong 1900s, the United States Coast and Geodetic Survey, or USC-NGS, Washington, D.C. office sent Assistant Director George R. Putnam, together with 2 officers, 2 aides, and a draftsman, to conduct reconnaissance survey of the Philippine Islands and to establish. Ay, hindi pala na si share screen. I'm so sorry. There you go. So, noong 1900s, sabi ko nga, yung USC and GS ay nagpadala ng mga tao para mag-conduct ng mga reconnaissance survey sa Pilipinas and to establish a sub-office of Manila. They arrived in Manila on December 15. So, noong 1901, yung nagkaroon tayo ng substation Manila Field Station sa may Intramuros. Yung MFS, naging Bureau of Coast and Geodetic Survey siya, or BCGS. And yung pinadala ng Washington, D.C. office na si Assistant Director George Putnam, siya yung naging unang director. So nung BCGS pa, Americans pa talaga yung mga namumuno sa pagsasurvey ng Pilipinas. So let's go back sa Philippine history natin. By 1901, yan po yung American era. So, noong 1903, nag-apprentice na ng mga Filipino employees as draftsmen, ang USCNGS. By 1905, nag-start na silang mag-conduct ng mga hydrographic and topographic surveys of ng Central Islands. So, ini-start na nilang maisapamapa yung yung mga lupa at saka tubig ng Pilipinas. At this time, there were already 27 American officers, 12 mates, and ship engineers. May 11 recorders working for the survey group. Tapos, yung mga Filipinos, nag-serve na sila as crew sa mga BCGS vessels. Noong 1936, yung BCGS from Intramuros, nilipat na siya sa may Manila Harbor. So yan yung lumang building ng Coast and Geodetic BCGS na nasa Manila Harbor siya. So alam natin na yung Manila Harbor, isang sa mga pinaka-importanting port yan. Noong 1938, for the first time, Filipino cadets were trained to undertake hydrographic and geodetic surveys of the Philippines. So cadets, sila yung sinasabing officers in training siya. So may passage of the Special Act in US Congress in 1938 February, which allowed 6 qualified Filipino engineers to become cadets for the planned nationalization of BCGS. So, noong 1939, nung era na to, ito na yung Commonwealth of the Philippines. So through Executive Order number 230, President Manuel L. Quezon organized the Department of National Defense, including the BCGS. So, simula't-simula pa ba, si BCGS under na siya ng DND. Then, noong 1941, nag-start yung World War II. So, dito dumating yung mga Hapon para sakupin ng Pilipinas. And from our history back then, magkasama yung American and Filipino forces para lalabanin yung mga Japanese forces. So, during the outbreak of the war, the administrative, computing, nautical, and drafting divisions were moved to the Philippine Columbian Club at Taft Avenue, and some of the Bureau's records were evacuated to the Corregidor. Yung mismong BCGS, nasuspend siya. By 1945, following the Philippine liberation, surviving Filipino employees of the BCGS were recalled to form a new personnel setup that enabled it to resume operations at a makeshift office, a concept hut in the Malacañang grounds. So yung mga natitirang Filipino employees, bumalik sila sa serbisyo para itayo ulit yung BCGS. The office was later moved to its present site at 421 Baraka Street at San Nicolas, Manila. So yung San Nicolas, Manila, ito pa rin po yung currently na office ng Hydrography branch. So, noong 1946, the USC and GS turned over the operation, supervision, and control of the BCGS to the Philippine government. The Philippine Rehabilitation Act of 1946 was passed by the US Congress. 49 Filipinos underwent training in all phases of hydrographic and geodetic survey works in the USC and GS in Washington, D.C. So yung 49 Filipinos na ito, sila yung magiging leaders or magiging officers ng corps. So noong 1947, CEO number 90 placed BCGS among the other agencies under the executive supervision of the Department of National Defense. So nung nagkaroon na-under na ulit si BCGS kasi natayo na siya ulit, hindi na siya suspended, okay na rin, pinasok pa rin ulit siya sa DNB. So CEO 94 noong 1947, sinundan niya yung EO 90 and established a commissioned corps of officers in the BCGS. So yung commissioned corps of officers, ito na yung may mga ranks. So ang unang appointed na Filipino director ng BCGS ay si Captain Andres O. Hizon. So noong 1958, yung from executive order, naging Republic Act na siya, which is the Republic Act 2057, an act to update the commission service of the BCGS and for other purposes. So basically itong RA 2057 na ito, dito nakasaad kung ano ba yung mandato at saka ano yung mga ina-accept na mga kadete, mga officers. So sa RA number 5534 naman, inamend naman yung RA 2057, which is raising the rank of the director ng BCGS from captain to commodore. That was 1969. So from 1969 nanatiling BCGS and tuloy-tuloy sila na mapa ng lupa and tubig. Pero noong 1987, nagkaroon ng Executive Order number 192 at nabuo ang National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, or what we know now is NAMRIA. So from NAMRIA, bale, merger kasi siya ng 4 na mga different agencies din na ang sole purpose is mapping nga yung tubig and yung dagat. So talagang mas kinuha na yung mga specialization sa mapping ng pagmamapa sa different agencies. So from here, ang NAMRIA ay binubuo ng National Resources Management Center, National Cartography Authority, na land classification teams from the Bureau of Development, Forest Development, and lastly, syempre, yung Bureau of Coast and Geodetic Survey. So sa NAMRIA, yung Bureau of Coast and Geodetic Survey naging NAMRIA Hydrography Branch. Basically, yung sa pagsasurvey ng tubig, yun yung naging NAMRIA Hydrography Branch. So ano nga ba si Hydrography Branch ngayon? So kanina, in-explain ni Sir Marlon, may mga pahapyaw siya na ginagawa, kung ano ba yung ginagawa ng Hydrography Branch. So yung mandate niya ng Hydrography Branch noon is same pa nung BCGS siya. Sabi nga, the authority shall conduct hydrographic and coastal surveys to produce the hydrographic and nautical charts vital to sea and water travel. So si NAMRIA din ay sinasabi na Hydrographic Office ng Pilipinas. So siya yung tumutupad ng mga mandates sa IMO, International Maritime Organization, SOLAS, or Convention on the Safety of Life at Sea. So, nandoon under sa Chapter 5 sa Safety of Navigation. Kasi nandito napapaloob yung mga paggawa ng mga nautical charts and publications na pinoproduce nga ng NAMRIA. So, member din tayo ng International Hydrographic Office of the IHO. Siya yung samahan ng mga hydrographic offices ng different states. And dun sa region natin, which is the EAHC, the East Asia Hydrographic Commission. So si NAMRIA is member din dyan. Si Hydrography Branch ay composed of 4 na technical divisions. So number 1, National Charting Division, the Maritime Affairs Division, the Physical Oceanography Division, and the Survey Support Division. Sa Nautical Charting Division, sila yung gumagawa ng nautical charts. Ito yung in-explain kanina ng Sir Marlon na ginagamit ng mga mariners kapag naglalayag sila. So ang size niyan is A0 size kapag paper siya. Malaki siya actually. Tapos meron din siyang different scales. Sabi nga ni Sir Marlon, kapag yung mga mariners kunwari, kailangan nilang maglayag papunta sa port, palaki ng palaki yung scale na kailangan nila para makita yung mga details sa pagdaong nila. Bakit kaya may nautical charts? Kasi si nautical charts, feature niya yung mga different features ng sea para maiwasan ng mga mariners yung mga dangers, kumbaga. So, ano ba yung mga dangers doon? Ang mga shoals, yan yung mga mabababaw. Kasi, syempre, kapag mababaw at dumaan ka doon as a barko, pwede kang sumadsad. So, accident yun. So, aside from the nautical charts, which is in paper form, meron din tayong electronic navigational charts or tinatawag natin na ENC. Ito yung mga specialized na digital format charts na inilalagay, ginagamit sa ECDIS or the Electronic Navigational Chart and Information System, ito yung mga parang kung kaninang naalala nyo dun kaysa sa presentation ni Sir Marlon, mukha siyang ATM na machine, pero ang nakalagay dun sa screen is mapa. So, ang ENC, real-time siya. Habang gumagalaw yung barko, nakikita rin nila yung galaw nila doon sa mapa. So, si Physical Oceanography Division, siya naman yung nagko-conduct ng mga physical oceanographic surveys. So, sabi nga kanina ni Sir Marlon, nagpo-produce sila ng tide and current tables na pinapakita yung predicted hourly tides ng different areas sa Pilipinas. Basically, kung saan nakalagay yung mga tidal stations natin. Tapos, bukod pa doon, meron din silang mga oceanographic data, pinaprocess nila. And sila din yung gumagawa. Sila yung nagtatayo ng mga tide stations sa different areas sa Pilipinas. So, hindi lang din tides ang tina-observe nila, nag-aano din sila ng current observations, which is meron din indicated doon sa tides and current tables nila. Si Maritime Affairs Division naman, bali dito ako naka-assign actually. Sila yung nagpo-produce ng nautical publications. So, nautical publications are navigational warnings, Philippine notices to mariners, Philippine list of flights, and Philippine coast pilot. So, kanina na-explain na ni Sir Marlon, ang mga ito ay ginagamit ng mariners as additional information doon sa nautical charts para sa safety of navigation nila. So, bukod doon, gumagawa din ang Maritime Affairs Division ng Municipal Waters Delineation Assistance. Yun nga yung delineation ng 15 kilometers municipal waters ng mga LGU natin. So, sila yung nag-a-assist sa LGU para ma-delineate nila kung ano yung municipal waters nila by law. And syempre, meron din si Maritime Affairs Division na special charts. Sila yung mga gumagawa ng mga maritime delineation nga, yung mga na-explain ni Sir Marlon kanina na exclusive economic zones and ECS maps. Although more on sa pag-request ng mga other agencies for their use. So, example dito, ito yung fishery management area chart na chart yan ng BFAR with collaboration with NAMRIA. And finally, syempre, yung Survey Support Division, which is actually like more or less 60 or 70% personnel sa buong maritime sa buong hydrography branch. So sila yung nagko-conduct ng hydrographic survey sa different areas sa Pilipinas, mostly sa ports and harbors, sa archipelagic sea lanes, archipelagic waters, and kapag talagang offshore sa mga malalalim talaga, sa mga open seas. So, under din ng Survey Support Division, yung Muntinlupa Magnetic Observatory na nagko-conduct ng geomagnetic survey. So, yung geomagnetic surveys natin, nagpo-produce sila ng isogonic charts na nagpapakita nga ng magnetic declination ng mga areas sa Pilipinas. Meanwhile, yung hydrographic data naman, yung bathymetric data, yun naman ay ginagamit sa mga charts natin and hinihingi din siya ng mga maritime stakeholders sa different purposes. Usually yung mga sa mga researches ng academe mga research proposals, humihingi sila ng mga bathymetric data. And kahit yung mga may-ari mga ports o port owners, kapag kunwari kailangan nilang gumawa ng facility nila, kailangan kasi nila ng bathymetric data, malaman yung kung ano yung lalim ng area para magawa nila yung project nila sa coast nila. So si Hydrography branch, unique siya kasi siya ay yung may hawak ng almost basically mga siguro more or less 90% ng uniformed personnel sa NAMRIA. So sa commissioned officers, yung mga ranks niya, Commodore, Captain, Commander, Lieutenant Commander, Lieutenant Senior Grade, Lieutenant Junior Grade, Ensign, and Probationary Ensign. Kung siguro familiar yung mga tao, they have the same ranks sa ating Navy and Coast Guards. So sa non-commissioned officers naman, formerly ang tawag sa kanila is enlisted personnel, pero ginawa na lang non-commissioned since hindi naman talaga sila ini-enlist. So meron the highest rank for the NCOs is the Chief Petty Officer, then the Petty Officer First Class, Second Class, Third Class, then Seaman First Class, Second Class, and Third Class. So, syempre, ito na yung pinapakaabangan ng lahat. Paano ba maging probationary ensign sa NAMRIA? So, yung probationary ensign, siya yung candidate officer who is in training to become an ensign. So, yung ensign, yun yung pinakamababang rank ng ating mga commissioned officers. Ano yung kailangan qualifications niya? Natural born Filipino citizen. So, age shall not exceed 30 on the date of hiring. Bakit kaya merong age limit? Kasi, actually, ang mga commissioned officers, katulad din ng ibang uniform service sa mga AFP, PCG, ang retirement niya is 56. So kaya meron siyang age limit. So graduate of engineering course or graduate from a naval or military academy recognized by the government. Yung engineering courses na ito, kahit ano siya, basta may board exam. Paano kaya yung mga engineering na walang board exam? Unfortunately, kasi dahil nasa batas na kailangan ng kumbaga civil service professional na qualification, ang mga board passers is per RA 1080 nga is granted na nung CSC qualification na yon. Kailangan may board exam yung engineering course para makapasok. So physically fit and does not have color blindness. Dati, dapat talaga 20/20 yung vision ng mga officers. Pero dahil nga ngayon meron na tayong mga corrected lenses at saka hindi na kasing crucial yung ginagamit yung mata. Dati kasi talagang gamit yung mata sa pagsa-survey. Ngayon kaya na siyang punan. Okay lang na basta meron kang salamin. So physically fit, ang ano lang talaga is color blindness. Hindi talaga siya pwede dahil syempre visual pa rin yung ginagawa. And yung color is kailangan siya makita kapag syempre gumagawa ka ng mapa. So ano ba yung process ng pagre-recruit sa probationary ensign? So una, initial screening. The examination board conducts a document review to verify credentials and to evaluate applicants in terms of a competency-based QS. So QS is quality standard. So una, yung mga papalabas ng announcement si NAMRIA na magkakaroon ng recruitment for probationary ensign. Tapos, yung mga applicants, syempre, magpapadala muna sila ng required documents. Then, iti-check ng mga kung qualified ba. So, halimbawa dun sa document, lagpas ka na ng 30, so hindi ka na talaga pwede mag-proceed. So, after the initial screening, kapag sinabi na ng exam board na, qualified ka na for the next step, which is the competency-based assessment. Yung competency-based assessment ng probationary ensign, meron siyang 4 phases. Yung first phase niya is yung written examination. Laging naming sinasabi na this is a competitive examination kasi sa mga experiences namin, 100 plus yung mga mag-e-exam, then parang 5 to 10 slots lang yung kakailangang makuha. So talagang maglalaban kayo doon sa scores. So yung written examination na ito is composed of 2 exam, which is a math problems 10-item problem solving math exam. Well, bakit ganun yung exam? Bakit kailangan may problem solving? So basically, isipin natin na ang ginagawa ng mga officers is scientific and engineering din. So surveys, kailangan talaga ng critical thinking, kailangan na marami talagang kailangan na engineering skills. So kapag hindi yung mga questions na nasa exam ng math actually is for engineering talaga. Hindi naman yung sobrang hirap na calculus. Pero yung at least yung pinakagamay na calculus, siguro mga first year, second year calculus, tapos yung mga basic problem solving. Mga mechanics, dynamics, ganun. Sinasama yun sa math exam. Meanwhile, yung English exam naman, tinetest naman niya, syempre, hindi naman kailangan dapat puro math kasi at the end of the day, as an officer, hindi lang kailangan mo rin ng documentary, documents sa paggawa ng reports, lalo na after ng survey, madami, makakapal yung mga reports na kailangan i-submit kasi dapat well-documented yung lahat ng mga ginawa mo. And syempre, kung na-assign ka naman sa office, syempre, yung mga administrative work, hindi naman lahat yon. Hindi ka lang naman sa field. Pwede ka rin ma-assign sa administrative. So after ng exam, kapag pasado ka sa exam, next step is the psychological examination, which is conducted by the HR ng NAMRIA. So sila yung basically may hawak and merong standard para pumasa doon. So after, pag pumasa ka na sa psychological exam, i-check naman yung mali pala yung nakalagay dito. Competency-based interview. So we have the panel of senior officers na i-interviewin ka kung syempre yung mga experiences mo, like any other job hiring. And lastly, kapag pumasa ka na sa tatatlo, medical exam, kailangan mag-submit para fully qualified ka as an officer. So, submission of candidate ranking and evaluation reports, the PBCO ranks the candidates according to the set guidelines and rules. If the number of qualified applicants exceeds the number of vacancies, the highest ranking applicants shall be prioritized. So sinasabi nga natin competitive kasi sa totoo naman na limited lang yung slots, marami yung applicants. So kailangan sa candidate ranking, i-rank pa rin kayo based on your performance sa competency-based assessment. Lastly, selection of probationary ensigns. Kapag na-select ka na, si administrator will assess yung merits nga nung recommendation ng PBCO para sa appointment as a probationary NC. So, nakita natin yung qualifications and yung process sa ating mga officers. So, ngayon naman, titignan natin sa mga non-commissioned officers. Kumbaga, sila yung mga crew natin. So, ang pinakamababang rank for the non-commissioned officers is the Seaman Third Class. Siya yung entry level ng NCO. Qualifications niya, natural born, Filipino citizen, must have completed at least 72 units in college or senior high, school graduate with relevant TESDA course, appropriate technical competency for the vacant position is required, physically fit and does not have color blindness. Bali kanina pala, hindi ko pala na-elaborate na ang officers and yung NCOs tumatanggap ng babae. Dati kasi as BCGS, hindi siya ang mga lady officers at saka lady non-commissioned officers or enlisted personnel noon, hindi siya tinatanggap. Bakit? Kasi yun yung nasa batas noon. Pero dahil nga nagkaroon tayo ng Magna Carta for Women na nag-o-offer ng equal job opportunity sa lahat, tumatanggap na ngayon ng female officers at saka female non-commissioned officers. So balik tayo as Seaman Third Class. So hindi kailangan graduate ka ng college as a Seaman Third Class. However, mas tinitignan yung qualifications, technical qualifications mo po. So kung meron kang practical skills na angkop doon sa magiging job description ng Seaman Third Class na yun. Kasi yung mga crew natin, pwedeng ma-assign sa barko, pwedeng ma-assign din sa office, as well as yung commissioned officers din natin. Pero yung sa mga crew kasi natin, siguro alam natin yung mga seaman natin, di ba, sa international vessels, may cook, may nasa engine, may nasa deck. Ganun din yung mga Seaman Third Class natin. Doon din sila pwedeng ilagay. Tapos may mga Seaman Third Class din tayo na gumagamit ng GIS. So ano talaga, broad talaga. So depende sa job hiring description yung magiging opening ng Seaman Third Class. So from the initial screening sa recruitment ng non-commissioned officers natin, kakonduct siya ng document review to verify credentials and evaluate applicants in terms of competency-based QS. So ganun ulit, mag-a-announce ulit sa NAMRIA na may opening ang ating mga non-commissioned officers. And then, well, mga applicants, kung interested ka, kailangan mo mag-submit ng ganitong requirements. So si NCOM PSD, i-check niya kung kumpleto ba yung mga requirements na binigay mo. Kapag kumpleto and pasok ka sa mga qualifications, then pasa mo. Competency-based assessment, katulad ng nasa officers, pero dahil nga depende dun sa opening ng NCO, depende din yung magiging assessment. So pwedeng magkaroon din ng test or pwedeng may interview. So meron siyang technical examination, may behavioral simulation, at saka may interview din. Lastly, submission of candidate, ranking, and evaluation of reports. Yung appointing authority, i-check niya muna kung sino na yung mga pumasa doon sa assessment. And kapag napili na nga niya yung mga may merit na mapasok doon sa ma-qualify, ipapasa ito sa Civil Service Commission. Yung mga pangalan ng mga NCO na pumasa. So saan ba nakikita yung announcement ng recruitment of NAMRIA uniformed personnel? So pinakita kanina ni Sir Marlon, sa NAMRIA website, merong area doon na job opportunities. Doon ina-upload yung mga list of vacant positions at saka yung mga announcement ng competitive examination. So sa social media platforms din ng NAMRIA, nilalagay din natin siya na doon sa FB, meron sa FB, meron sa Twitter. Then lastly, although ngayon hindi ko, dati kasi nung ako yung nag-apply, nakita ko din talaga siya sa online job websites. So ngayon, I don't know kung yung mga latest na hiring ay nasa online job websites pa rin. Kasi mas sa social media pa lang, madami na talagang nakakakita and maraming interested. And hopefully, yung mga nakikinig dyan sa YouTube, interested din kayo. So for more information, you may contact us sa NAMRIA Hydrography Branch. Siguro, kung hindi na stringent ang ating panahon, pwedeng bumisita sa office namin and pwedeng mag-email. And meron din kaming FB, yung official ng NAMRIA and yung official ng sa maritime, which lahat po ng maritime aspect na tungkol sa NAMRIA, nasa NAMRIA Maritime na FB. So thank you po sa pakikinig and kay Sir Andrew na po ulit.
Okay, maraming salamat Miss Agnes. So ayun, so I think maraming interesado dun sa ating mga participants, no? For those of you who are interested, kagaya nga po na sinabi ni Miss Agnes, I think just keep yourself posted po doon sa mga announcements na binibigay po ng aming ahensya, either through external job platforms or mismo sa website namin, para po malaman niyo kung may opening on both the commissioned officers saka po dun sa mga non-commissioned officers. As long as you meet the criteria for the position, apply na po tayo. Okay? So last but definitely not the least on our list is the Chief of NAMRIA's Human Resource Management Section, Ms. Agnes G. Radam. Ma'am Agnes will give us an overview of the work opportunities and perhaps the benefits of working here in NAMRIA. So good morning, Ma'am Agnes. Over to you po.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for participating. So I'd like to share up my screen. Okay, skip ko lang, sorry. Okay, my topic is how to start a career in government through NAMRIA. So we have heard a lot already from the previous speakers, from Marlon and Ma'am Angie. And I know you're so excited na to start a career. But first of all, okay, I'm Agnes Radam and I am the Administrative Officer 5, Chief of Human Resource Management Section. Now, choosing a career. So, importante, bago tayo mag-apply sa NAMRIA or in any other government agencies, kailangan we have to choose a career. Actually, yung choosing a career, it's one of the hardest as well as exciting choices or decisions in life. Para kang mag-aasawa nito eh. Kasi it's a decision, it's a lifelong decision, long decision kasi it affects or it affects your yung career mo, yung buhay mo when you choose a career. Parang pag-aasawa yan eh. It's a choice kung mag-aasawa ka or hindi ka mag-aasawa at sinong mapapangasawa mo. Kasi long term itong decision natin na to eh. Hindi siya yung tulad ng decision na anong isusuot ko, anong kakainin ko. So yun, mga short term to. Pero ito, long term ang decision na to. So we have to be very careful in choosing our career. Okay, rule number 1, choose a career that is something you really want to do. Ito importante to eh. Sino bang mamimili ng career? Si mama ba, si daddy, si lolo, si lola, si ate? It is you who will choose your career. And when you choose a career, it should be something close to your heart. You really want to do it. You really want to pursue it. Ikaw mismo ang may gusto. So, okay lang si momshi, si daddy to give you guidance, to give you advice, but at the end of the day, mga momshis, mga daddies, no? Ito yung laging actually during the earlier years, mga 60s, 70s, 80s yan, ito yung mga problema ng mga bata. Kasi si mommy tsaka si daddy nagde-decide kung anong career na kukunin ng mga anak natin. But this time around, medyo lenient tayo, pero meron pa rin. Meron pa rin. So, ang papel natin as parents is only to guide. But at the end of the day, ang ating mga estudyante pa rin, ang ating mga anak pa rin, ang dapat masunod kung ano yung career na pipiliin niya. Kasi, nabanggit ko nga kanina, long-term kasi to, long-term journey. So, paano kung hindi niya gusto yung gusto natin? Meron ako actually yung friend ng anak ko. So, nag-graduate sila, 4-year course. Ang kinuha ng bata is business ad. You know what? After 4 years, after graduating from business ad, right after graduation, nag-enroll siya ng nursing. So sabi ko, bakit ka magkukuha ng nursing? Eh di ba gumraduate ka na ng business ad? Ang sagot niya sa akin, tita kasi pinagbigyan ko lang yung parents ko kasi yun ang course na gusto nila. So this time around, kukunin ko naman yung course na gusto ko. Well, di ba? Sayang 4-year course, nag-aral sa FEU. So imagine the resources lost, pera, effort, and time. So right now, habang yung mga kabatch niya nagtatrabaho na, siya nag-aaral pala. So please bear in mind, parents, na to think about it. No? Let's just give them guidance. Pero the decision should be their decision. Because you do your best work if you do a job that makes you happy, di ba? Pag gusto mong ginagawa mo, actually yung trabaho half done na yun eh. Kasi if you enjoy what you're doing, you're happy with it, mas magiging productive ka, magiging masaya ka, and mas ma-achieve mo yung gusto mong ma-achieve. Then, what are the factors affecting career choices? So number 1, interest. Like I mentioned, saan ba yung interest mo? Gusto mo ba, interesado ka ba sa mga makina? Interesado ka ba sa electrical? Interesado ka ba sa mapa? Like for example, yung na-discuss kanina. Gusto mo bang, tulad kanina yung na-discuss ni Ma'am Angie, gusto nyo bang magsiman? So saan ba yung interest nyo? So you have to assess yourself kung saan ka interesado. Then of course, yung skills mo. Minsan yung mga bata, nakikitaan mo na ng skills eh. So mga parents, please be observant. So may mga bata, nakikitaan mo na magaling sa math, magaling mag-drawing, magaling sa communication. So magaling ang interpersonal relationship niya. So doon pa lang titignan nyo na nasaan ang skills ko. Then aptitude. Okay. Ito usually yung nagiging concern, yung aptitude. Okay. Gusto kong maging doktor. Pero hindi kaya ng aking intelligence. Gusto kong engineering course pero mahina ako sa math. So dapat i-assess natin yung carefully. Ngayon merong tool na ginagamit, pinapakuha ito sa usually sa mga high school students, yung NCAI, yung National Career Assessment Examination. So that could be used as a guide, as a guiding tool para makapili kayo o makapili kayo ng career na appropriate sa iyo. Okay. And more so, I'd like also to emphasize sa aptitude. Minsan sa aptitude kasi, sa school, yung traditional school, ang mini-measure pa rin nila ay yung yung usual na logical, mathematical, linguistic, verbal intelligence. Okay. So, di ba mapapansin natin, best in math, best in science, best in English. Okay. So, how about the other intelligence? Meron kasing multiple intelligence. Nowadays, napag-uusapan na yung multiple intelligence eh. Hindi na lang basta magaling sa math, magaling sa science. Meron na ring intelligence in terms of naturalistic, in terms of yung interpersonal, intrapersonal, bodily kinesthetics, ito yung mga magagaling sa sports, visual, ito yung mga artistic, magagaling yung may mga yung sa visual yung nakikita nila pero hindi natin nakikita. So very artistic kasi sila. So ito yung sinatawag ng multiple intelligence. So titingnan natin 'yon, mga parents. Minsan kasi pag inuuwian tayo ng mababang grade sa math, sa science, sa English, nagagalit tayo, no? Pero dapat tingnan natin, probably hindi nakikita yung other intelligence. You know, God created every one of us with different talents. Iba-iba tayo. Merong magaling sa math, merong mahina sa math, pero magaling naman sa English. Ganun. We were created by God differently for us to complement each other. So dapat let us also i-refocus natin na hindi lang dapat yung anak natin or yung mga estudyante na magaling lang sa academics, yun lang. Kasi ang intelligence, marami yan. Maraming aspects na na-mention ko na. So titignan natin, maigi, bakit mababa siya sa gantong grades? So wag kayong magagalit, mga mamshies, mga daddies, instead, tingnan nyo kung saan yung kanyang interest, yung kanyang skill, yung kanyang aptitude. Medyo i-refocus natin sa ibang intelligence. Napakarami pong intelligence. Okay? So, next is experience. So, ano pa yung factors na nag-affect sa career choice? Experience, for example, na-experience ng bata mag-alaga ng may sakit na relative or loved one. Kaya gusto niyang maging doktor, maging nurse. Kaya experience, halimbawa, naapi sila. Diba? Naapi. Kaya gusto niya maging police, maging military, o kaya maging lawyer. So, yung iba naman, very common among Chinese families, bata pa lang, ini-expose na sa business. So, nai-experience ng bata kung paano mag-manage ng business. So, eventually, nagkakaroon na rin siya ng interest to take up a business course, a career in business. So, yun isa sa mga nakaka-affect sa career choices. Then ito, very common ito, family tradition. Sundalo si lolo, sundalo si tatay. So, ina-expect ng family, may susunod na sundalo sa next generation. Yung previous na career talk namin, tinanong ko yung isang participant, high school. So, tinanong ko, ano yung course na kukunin mo? Ang sabi niya, medicine po. So, bakit medicine? Ang sagot niya sa akin, kasi po, doctors po yung mother at father ko. So, somehow, may expectation na may kasunod. But again, let me remind you, mga parents, okay lang to influence, okay lang to guide or give guidance, pero do not impose. Okay? Yung family tradition, very common yan, na dapat may kasunod. Diba? Usually tatanungin, sinong susunod sa yapak ng tatay? Sundalo si tatay, sinong kasunod? So may expectation from society, may expectation from relatives, may expectation, di ba? Pero at the end of the day, sino ba ang mag-aaral? Sino ba ang magpapakahirap? Sino ang mag-i-spend ng time? Di ba yung bata? Di ba yung estudyante? So, yun. Then, personality. Siyempre, titingnan mo rin, ano ba yung personality ko? Okay ba ako na makipag-usap sa public? Or mas gusto ko ba ng negotiation? Or mas rather gusto ko sa isang kwarto na nagko-compute? Yun. So, depende sa personality mo yan, doon sa career choice. Then, life goals and work values. Yung life goals, ano pa talagang gusto mong maging? Di ba meron tayong ganyan eh. Maliit pa lang tayo, meron na tayong life goals. Gusto ko maging ganito. Gusto ko maging isang inhenyero. Gusto ko maging commissioned officer. Gusto kong maging accountant. Yan. So ano yung life goals mo? So that affects yung career choice mo. And then yung work values naman, knowing what you value most will help you refine your career search and choice. Diba? Ano ba yung values mo? Gusto kong maglingkod sa bayan. Gusto kong mag-alaga ng may sakit. Gusto kong nagvo-volunteer ako. Gusto ko may value yung aking ginagawa. Gusto ko nakikita agad yun. So helping others. Now, meron naman iba, prestige. Gusto ko sikat ako. Gusto ko famous ako. Gusto ko kilala ako ng marami. So, prestige. So, iba naman, tinitignan, gusto ko maging mayaman agad. Gusto ko yung trabahong mataas ang sweldo. Ayoko nung malitang sweldo. So, yun. And then, flexible work hours. Meron kasing iba na ayaw ng 8 to 5 hours. Gusto nga flexible. May freedom sila to do the things they want to do. Hawak nila yung oras nila. So, para meron silang time for their family, for themselves, kung ano yung mga hobbies nila. So, that affects also yung career choice. Kasi it's part of your value system. So, pag kailangan establish and align mo yung values mo, yung career choice mo, and career goals for motivation. And then, next, rule number 2, do your research and choose carefully and thoughtfully. Okay. Paano ka magre-research? So, research several careers, not just one. So, meron kang, say, for instance, top 5 careers na gusto ko. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tapos, i-rank mo yon. Tapos, research on every career. Na ito yung mga career na most likely, ito yung mga gusto kong ma-achieve. And then, scope out internet resource. Napakaraming information sa internet. You're very lucky nowadays kasi ang bilis mag-research. So, use the internet resources. And then, see a career counselor. Usually sa schools, meron yan. May mga career counselor. Of course, si career counselor, they will just provide you with guidance. Pero, ikaw pa rin ang magde-decide kung alin yung gusto mo. Okay? And then, of course, network. Many people love to talk about their jobs. Kung gusto mong maging accountant, interviewin mo yung accountant. Mag-interview ka ng commission officer. Mag-interview ka ng engineer para at least, based from their experience, masasabi nila sa inyo, ito yung ginagawa ko at maa-assess mo kung yung ba talaga gusto ko. Like for example, yung mga sa engineers namin, usually nasa labas yan, field work yan. Gusto ko ba mag-field work? Baka ayaw ko naman maaraw. Gusto ko sa office lang. So maraming considerations, but these are the resources you can access para makapag-research ka at para makapag-decide ka ng mabuti. And then rule number 3, make it meaningful to you. So, nabanggit kanina ni Sir Marlon yung mga products namin, yung output ng ginagawa ng mga empleyado namin. So, ano ba yung meaning ng mapa sa buhay ng bawat Pilipino? Sa buhay ng hindi lang Pilipino, sa buhay ng tao. So, make it meaningful. Kasi finding your passion isn't about careers and money. Initially, it's about money. Okay, gusto mong kumita. Pero eventually, Hahanapin mo yung, it's about finding your authentic self and the one you buried beneath other people's needs. Pag makikita mo yung meaning nung ginagawa mo para matugunan yung pangangailangan ng ibang tao. So that makes it very meaningful. Then, so how to start a career in the government through NAMRIA? So meron ka ng napiling career. So yung iba sa participants natin, mga nasa college level na eh. So, eto na yung gusto mo nang pumasok sa government or sa NAMRIA. Now, you have to comply with civil service eligibility. Okay. Ito lang yung very common na eligibilities, although marami pa pong mga eligibilities. Now, you can research from the website of the Civil Service Commission if you really want to start a career in the government, especially in NAMRIA. So ito yung mga common eligibilities: CSC professional, CSC sub-professional, eligibilities resulting from bar board exam. So yung CSC professional eligibility, it's passing the professional level exams which qualifies you for both, take note, first level and second level. So pag pumasa ka ng professional eligibility exam, professional eligibility, you can apply for both first level, which is the clerical, mga custodial and trade positions. And then for second level positions, ito yung mga scientific, technical, and professional positions. So yun ang advantage if you pass and you earn the civil service professional eligibility. You take the exam from the civil service, by the way. Then, yung CSC sub-professional eligibility naman, it's passing the sub-professional level exams, but it will only qualify you for the first level position. So for clerical, custodial, and trade. Tapos yung isa naman, yung eligibilities resulting from bar or board exam. Ito yung sinasabi ni Ma'am Angie kanina, yung sa board exam. So nire-require nila na for you to be able to apply for a commission officer, dapat pasado ka ng board exam, engineering board exam. Yung sinasabi niyang RA 1080. Ngayon yung from bar naman, kung halimbawa ang position na ina-apply mo for attorney position or lawyer position. Tapos meron din po tayong honor graduate eligibility or PD 907. So yung mga graduating students natin na graduate with honors, cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude, you can apply for honor graduate eligibility from the Civil Service Commission. But wait, kahit may PD 907 ka na, depende pa rin yun dun sa nire-require na eligibility ng position. Okay, let's go further. So sa civil, kung maghahanap kayo ng vacant position, i-open nyo yung sa Civil Service Commission na website and then look for yung job opportunities. So lalabas ito, tapos i-encode nyo yung position yung hinahanap nyo. So for example, ito, engineer position, tapos NAMRIA, NCR, then submit. So lalabas yung NAMRIA dyan. So ito na engineer 2 position na may vacant position sa engineer 2. Tapos merong posting date dyan, merong closing date. Tapos view details. Pag view mo yung details sa civil service, ito yung lalabas. So place of assignment, so cartel division, position title, engineer 2, plantilla number, salary grade. Then ito yung basic monthly salary. Ito yung eligibility na binabanggit ko kanina. So kailangan, when you apply for a position in the government, kailangan masatisfy yung tinatawag na QS. So yung kanina binanggit ni Ms. Angie, qualification standards. So ano yung mga qualification standards? Ito, number 1, yung eligibility, yung binanggit ko kanina. Education. So nakalagay naman dun sa required qualification standard na ang education dapat bachelor's degree engineering relevant to the job. Okay. For this position, yung engineer 2 position, it's kasi yung place of assignment niya is cartography division. ano yung relevant to the job na engineer course? So, any engineering course pwede. But, if in case, halimbawa, ang place of assignment is nasa Engineering Services Division, ang relevant to the job na course dyan, engineering course ay mechanical kasi may motor pool tayo. Tapos yung facilities and maintenance, so merong electrical, pwedeng electrical, at saka yung ECE, electronics communications engineering. Yan, pwede yan. Pero kung ang course, engineering course mo is geodetic engineering, hindi siya magiging relevant to the job. So depende dun sa place of assignment nung kung saan ma-assign yung engineer position. And then meron din isa pang qualification standard itong training. So ang advice ko sa mga college students na graduating na, after graduation, take as much training as you can. Lalo na ngayon, maraming free webinars. Take as much trainings as you can. Kasi may mga positions na nire-require ng relevant training. For example, for this position, engineer to position, 4 hours relevant training. And then, last but not the least, qualification standard ay yung work experience. Minsan, for entry positions, walang nakalagay dyan. So, depende sa positions. Kasi si engineer to position to, so meron na siyang nire-require na relevant experience, 1 year relevant experience. Okay. So, nandyan yung, so, para makita nyo pa yung detailed na requirement, so pupunta kayo dun sa NAMRIA website. Or kung sa ibang office, government office, tingnan nyo yung website nila. And the same thing, job opportunities, hanapin nyo. And then, makikita nyo ngayon yung details. So, ito yung binanggit ko kaninang qualification standards. Although ito, example na to, engineer for position na to eh. Tapos, makikita nyo yung technical competencies. Okay. So, titignan nyo, qualified ba ako dito sa technical competencies na to? Okay. If not, huwag kayong mag-alala kasi dapat pwede nyo naman gawa ng paraan. Take as much training as you can, tapos experience, kung talagang gusto nyong makuha yung position na yun. Okay, so nandiyan yung job description. Okay. So finally, ito yung favorite na binabanggit ni Father Orbos every Sunday, no? BTS. So ano yung BTS na yan? Believe in your dreams. Believe you can achieve it. Believe in what you want to do. Of course, believe in God. Trust in yourself, trust in your competencies, trust in what you can do, trust in Him, and of course, surrender. Surrender your dreams to God. So BTS, yan yung gustong-gusto kong sinasabi ni Father Orbos. With that, thank you and map your future with NAMRIA.
Okay, maraming salamat po Ma'am Agnes for that very comprehensive and inspiring presentation from you. So actually in the interest of time, I'm seeing a lot of questions actually, pero pinagsama-sama ko na lamang po siya. I think at this point we can now open our time for discussions doon po sa ating mga questions posted doon sa YouTube channel po natin. Okay? So doon po sa mga resource persons po natin, tatawagin ko na lamang po kayo. Ano po? So the first one, since nandiyan na din po kayo Ma'am Agnes, may dalawa po tayo na tanong, si Miss Christine Joyce saka si Mr. or Miss Denise Apostol. They were asking kung tumatanggap daw po ba ang NAMRIA ng OJT or ng internship.
I think ngayon hindi pa tayo tumatanggap, pero we'll check on that because of the naka-MECQ tayo, right?
Yes
so
po.
medyo naka-hold pa yung mga on-the-job training natin. But keep us updated, posted. Kasi actually yan din talaga yung nagiging problema sa mga estudyante ngayon eh. Yung requirement ng OJT. Okay. Keep updated na lang po. Thank you.
Okay po, so ayun daw po, keep updated na lamang po kasi with the quarantine restrictions po imposed by the IATF for government offices, sa ngayon po medyo hindi pa feasible na mag-accept po ng mga interns or mga OJTs po para po sa NAMRIA. Okay, so the second question that I have right now is from Miss Lenny Miranda, and maybe I can direct this question to Miss Angelica. Pwede po ba mag-apply kahit wala pang civil service? Marine engineering graduate daw siya and has a 1-year sea service.
Na-explain po ko po kanina na meron pong process naman. So, ako actually, nung nag-apply ako as a commissioned officer, wala pa akong nag-review pa lang ako for the board exam. So dahil yung yung exam is almost malapit na, nag-apply ako kasi gusto kong i-try talaga. So nung pumasa naman ako and nakuha ko yung eligibility, nakapasok naman ako. So siguro you can, pero yun nga, kung kunwari qualified ka sa lahat ng processes, ng phases pala, pero by that time, di ba nga sa end is mayroong ranking. So least priority ka kasi wala ka pa ng eligibility.
Okay po. So again, importante po na i-check natin yung qualification standards ng bawat position po na gusto natin applyan. Kasi doon po talaga magbe-base yung ating human resource management section sa pag-assess po ng ating mga applicants, both for the hydrography branch and also for the rest of the agency. Okay po, salamat Miss Ande. And then I can maybe throw in some questions to Sir Marlon. Hi Sir Marlon, if you're still there. Okay, Sir Marlon, these are actually questions from Mr. Alvin Lizada and Mr. Elmer Cosio. What are the application softwares used currently for GIS? And ito pong isang question ni Mr. Elmer, ano po yung software applications na ginagamit in making topographic maps?
Ayun, bali sa ngayon, ang NAMRIA ay gumagamit ng ArcGIS. So yun yung ginagamit. Meron kaming tawag doon. Parang corporate account pa. May corporate account ang NAMRIA sa ArcGIS. So galing sa geodata. Yun po yung ginagamit namin sa... Although hindi pa kasi lahat nako-convert sa shapefile lahat. Meron pa rin mga AutoCADs pa na CAD file pa ngayon. Yun, sa training naman, kung interested din sila, bali meron training for Manifold, Quantum GIS, tsaka sa ArcGIS. Yun po.
Okay, salamat Sir Marlon. Hindi pa kita bibitawan kasi meron pa din question dito. Yung paggamit daw po, this is from Mr. Amsed Roll, yung pag-generate daw ng disaster risk maps at mga hazard maps ay mandatory po ba ng NAMRIA?
Ayun po. So sa presentation ko po kanina, yung topographic base map po natin, yun po yung ginagawa nila na base map. So kung mabisita po nila yung website natin, dun sa download section, meron tayong mga hazard note doon. So yung MGB, PBox, Pag-asa, nag-contribute sila ng mga data tapos in-overlay sa topographic map natin. Bali yun po yung contribution natin doon sa hazard map, sa Ready Project. Noong 2013 pa tayo. Yun po.
Okay, salamat Sir Marlon. And last question, I think, do you update maps annually or depending on the request of a government agency? Do you update maps annually? Or depende daw ba sa request ng government agency?
So, kasi may mga costs na ginagamit tayo sa paggawa ng mapa, sa pag-update din. So, ang pinaka mabilis lang talaga, kailangan talagang i-update. Kasi katulad yung nangyari sa Yolanda, so kailangan ng government ng immediate map para sa planning ng mga gagawin nila para sa pagtulong sa nasalanta ng Yolanda typhoon. So yun. So pag may request, pwede siyang i-update agad or dun sa yung nangyaring earthquake dun sa Bohol. So major update din siya kasi malaki talaga yung pinagbago ng lupa dun sa lugar. So yun po. Pero kasi kung uh, uh, parang 5 years po at ang updating talaga ng topographic maps natin.
Okay,
Medyo
salamat
matagal
sir.
talaga.
Okay, salamat Sir Marlon. Nakita ko lang may pahabol po, no, kasi parang sinasummarize ko na lang po yung mga questions po natin, ano. So from Mr. Francis Ocampo, para po siguro ito kay Miss Angelica, paano po kung may contact lens po for color blind? May lens po kasi ako na ginagamit ko sa previous ship ko and I will apply for NCO. May chance po ba?
Personally po, hindi pa, I don't know na meron palang existing na contact lens for color blindness na pala na available. So kung interested pa rin po naman, pwede pa rin pong mag-submit. Wala naman pong kasi kung may experience na rin po, actually maganda yung chance. Siguro po yung assessment body na nag-a-assess, sila po yung magsasabi kung tatanggapin ba or hindi.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Ensign Prado. So I think for the rest of the questions, while I was skimming through them, I think we generated interest para po sa ating mga resource person, ano po, sa mga para sa pag-a-apply ng mga trabaho po dito sa NAMRIA. Again, what has been emphasized by Ma'am Agnes po is kindly check na lamang po yung mga postings na nakalagay po sa aming website, particularly doon po sa aming qualification standards ng bawat position para po ma-assess din po muna natin sa ating mga sarili kung pasa po ba tayo dun sa requirements ng position. Okay po? Again, it's namria.gov.ph. You can find a lot of information, not just with our job opportunities, but also sa mga free downloads, sa mga publications, at sa mga maps and charts na na-generate po ng aming siya. Okay po? So I think that wraps up our question and answer portion. And of course, to formally end our program for this morning, I would like to call our OIC Director of the NAMRIA's Geospatial Information System Management Branch, Director Febrina E. Damaso. Good morning, Boss Febs.
Morning. Morning. May isang meeting kasi ako kaya hindi ako nakapakinig, no? Anyway, good morning, everyone. In closing, no, I would like to share with you, my career actually in NAMRIA, no. For me, kasi starting a career in government, especially in NAMRIA, is both for me challenging and rewarding. Parang I was 22 years old then when I started in NAMRIA. And I started as a researcher, Information Systems Analyst 1, 2, 3, Information Technology Officer, Information Officer, and then Assistant Director of GISMB, then former Director of SSB, and now back to GISMB as a Director. So you can see I was a typical example. Sabi nga nila na an employee who rose from the ranks, no? Kasi dinaanan ko lahat ng mga posisyon. Yung mga bagong empleyado ngayon, mas swerte, di ba, Miss Agnes? Ang tataas na entry positions, di ba? Especially from the technical branches na vacancies, no? So marami ring opportunities for me na dumating, both from offers from private companies, other government agencies, and also abroad. But I preferred to stay in NAMRIA and pursue my master's degree. Now I'm still here, no, pursuing my career in NAMRIA and about to retire in 3 years' time. No, maganda tong webinar na to. Na I hope we have given the participants the information, all the information about NAMRIA and how to start a career in NAMRIA, especially from the HR. So if you're planning to work in government until you retire, no? Or specifically, I would recommend NAMRIA. You stay with NAMRIA. Yun lang, kasi nag-enjoy ako sa NAMRIA po, nag-grow ako sa NAMRIA eh. So, and all the opportunities na na-receive ko, hindi ko makakalimutan. Dahil sa mga opportunities na yon, umabot ako sa ganitong posisyon. So, on behalf of our administrator, Yusek Peter and Chanko and the other officials, no, I would like to thank you for attending this webinar. And also, I would like to thank the management team na nag-coordinate itong webinar na to, from Jeff, Andrew, and the HR. Hindi ko alam kung sino pa yung in charge ng na to, webinar. And also, syempre, I would like also to thank yung mga able resource persons natin. Diba? Marami tayong experts dito sa NAMRIA, both technical, HR, and other technologies na ginagamit natin. Puro experts tayo. So I hope you had a very fruitful and informative webinar today. So again, thank you. God bless and be safe always. Back to you, Andrew.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Boss Febs. Okay, so before we go po, kindly accomplish para po sa ating mga participants na nakastream po sa ating YouTube channel, kindly accomplish po yung ating evaluation form, the link of which are actually posted right now doon po sa ating chat box. Ito po kasi yung magiging basis natin for the issuance of the e-certificates, okay? And I believe the link to the evaluation form, correct me if I'm wrong na lang, Sir Jeff Kodala, will only be active until 11:59 p.m. tonight. So make sure that you answer them within the day. Again, kindly accomplish na lamang po yung ating evaluation form for you to be given the digital copies of the presentation and also your e-certificates. Okay, so with that, again, on behalf of our administrator, Yusek Peter and Yanko, PhD, CESO1, GISMB Director Febs and SSB Director Boss Connie, and the rest of the staff behind this orientation webinar, this has been Andrew, thanking you for participating in today's webinar for starting a career in government through NAMRIA. Keep safe, everyone, and bye for now. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Pasensya na yung background ko, hindi ko napalitan. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, boss.